Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Irwin. I'm the Chief Communications Manager for the City of Arvada, and we wanted to do another recorded conversation amongst members of the city team about another topic related to COVID-19. Today, I'm going to have a chat with Charise Canales, who is the Neighborhood Engagement Coordinator for the city. Hi, Charise.
Hi, Ben. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Chris, could you talk a little bit about what you would typically do when we're not immersed in a global pandemic?
I'd be happy to. So as Ben said, I'm the Neighborhood Engagement Coordinator. My role is to really provide resources and tools to our neighborhoods to get more connected. I manage our programs like the Block Party trailer, our neighborhood movie equipment, and a number of neighborhood grants, all aimed at helping with neighboring.
Great, and so that's the topic of the day for today. Before we get into it, just to give folks a little bit of context, this is being recorded about midway through April. We're 3 or 4 weeks now into the city closure of city facilities, 3 or so weeks into the stay-at-home order that went into effect. And right now we've had about a week of recommended mask wearing and just figuring out how to continue to deliver city services while maintaining physical distancing and adhering to all of that, making sure our community is supported. And so we talk a lot about our core services and delivery of things like water and public safety. All of those things are continuing without interruption. So those are a mandate. We wanted to get into a little bit about your area of expertise, Charise. 3, 4 weeks, some of us working remotely, some of us in the community don't have the ability to work. Some of us are helping our children learn through remote learning. It's a really tough time, and on top of all of it, we're stuck inside and getting a little stir crazy, at least speaking for myself. I don't know about you. So I guess I was just curious first, how are you holding up with all of this?
I'm doing pretty well. It definitely was an adjustment, as with everyone. Finding the new normal and what that looks like, and just taking the time to focus on the positives. And personally, I've been amazed seeing how our community has adapted. So I'm enjoying the extra time at home and really appreciative of everything that's happening right now.
Yeah, it's incredible. The community is really coming together. People are really most people are doing everything they can to help limit the spread of COVID and flatten the curve. Obviously, one of the key words, they have those words of the year at the end of the year. And I have a feeling when we get into November and December, one of the phrases of the year will be social distancing. And one of the things I know that I've heard you speak eloquently about, and we talk about a lot, is what are we talking about when we say social distancing? And I've heard you talk a little bit about not using that term anymore and thinking a little bit more about the term physical distancing. I was wondering if you could talk about why that distinction is important and what are we trying to achieve when we bring the social component into it?
I'd be happy to. Initially, when this COVID-19 crisis unrolled, we have been talking a lot about social distancing to flatten the curve and to limit those person-to-person interactions or public gatherings that would spread the virus. And that's really important to think about. At Arvada, I've been thinking a lot about research that's emerging around encouraging building social connections while maintaining physical distancing, and really being intentional with the language around that. Now that term physical distancing amidst social connections developed out of some research from Dr. Daniel Aldrich, who is one of the lead researchers in the field of resilience. And so all of his research has shown in different disasters throughout our history, those communities that have strong social ties are actually better equipped to recover and to thrive on the other side of a disaster or a crisis, so like COVID-19. So in Arvada, we really want to focus on those social connections still occurring, even if we're physically distant in our own homes.
That's great. This makes me think, that begs the question, is this something we just started doing with COVID-19, or what has the city's approach been over the last period of years towards some of the things that you're talking about?
Well, at Arvada, we've been committed to supporting neighboring for many, many years, and we've developed a number of programs around it. You know, we have our tools within our Neighbors Connected program, Neighbors Connected Neighborhood Strong, and so we really want to encourage, you know, making it as easy as possible to know your neighbor, to connect with those who are closest to you. So we've created things like our block party trailer, our movie equipment, our grants. We have tools like the talent bank, which really is an inventory tool to see what special skills or resources do you have in your community. And at Arvada, we really like to say that you and your neighbors are superheroes in disguise. There's so many hidden talents and skills within your immediate community. And so we've really been focusing on those efforts for the last several years.
Yeah, it's so important. Hopefully people who are listening to this will remember maybe midway through last year in the Arvada report, there was a feature on the neighborhood superhero motif. It was pretty, it continues to be something that we try to share. And it's so important because you've mentioned resiliency. It connects to the city's goals also of keeping people informed and engaged with just what's going on in the city. Just all about creating stronger social cohesion. I hear you say that a lot. Before COVID hit, we were also working a lot on just a larger community-wide engagement plan that fed into our communications and fed into all the different ways, sort of supported all the different ways we engage with people. So it's good to know that we have this in place, because I think it's given us hopefully a little bit of a leg up in helping and being a part of strengthening and persevering through this challenging time.
Well, and I'll add that Arvada is a really special place already. It's really known as a city of great neighbors, and you all are experts at doing this. You've been doing this a lot longer than Ben and I have been working at the city. You really come together as a community, and so this period right now is showing that in action.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful thing to see. I was wondering if we could maybe talk a little bit about some specifics. So now how do people stay socially connected in a community that's so used to being able to, have block parties, have festivals, meet up at the local park in a large group and have fun together? What are some of the things you're seeing and recommending to help people stay connected during this COVID-19 crisis?
Well, the easiest and simplest way to start is with those who are closest to you. Just check in on them. So whether it's, starting a regular video chat with your friends or family members, you could do a group text message or phone tree with your neighbors. Really reach out to those around you and stay connected to them during this time, especially those who are maybe your older neighbors, folks that are immunocompromised, or really anyone who is struggling with isolation. Check in, see if they need help with groceries or picking up something from the pharmacy. Just really focus on making sure everyone feels connected and like they belong, because those strong feelings of belonging and having a strong sense of community are going to be what help you recover faster in a crisis or disaster. And then, beyond that, there are some really creative ways that people are staying connected with their neighbors virtually. People talk a lot about creative commerce in terms of the business community adapting. And I like to think of it as creative neighboring. So I know some of my favorite ideas that I've seen in action are, like front yard Zumba classes, or the teddy bear scavenger hunts from your windows, a lot of chalk art with uplifting messages, or recently I think I saw some moms do like obstacle courses in the chalk. So that's been really cool to see. What about you, Ben? What are some of your favorite ideas that you've seen pop up?
Well, yeah, I will just wanted to build off the teddy bear thing. We had a teddy bear in our window until my 2.5-year-old daughter decided that she wanted to take the teddy bear and take naps with it, and instead put a little
Oh,
Elmo up in the window. So hopefully, if anybody drives by the house with the Elmo in the window, they won't think too less of us. We're just trying to make it all work here right now.
mhm.
Yeah, I think I've been really inspired by the little rocks, the little decorated rocks that people are leaving in little places as a delightful thing to discover as you go for a walk in your neighborhood, things like that. And I've seen some folks talk on social media about starting their own yard signs, doing their own kind of local flair to show solidarity, and to make sure that when people drive by, they know that they're doing well and they're part of this larger community. I
Mhm.
like the things where, and this is like shameless plug, and hopefully you'll appreciate it too. But we definitely still have our Speak Up Arvada engagement platform, and we have a number of topics that are active right now. But one of them is what's called "We Can Do This Arvada." It's sort of the city's campaign to try to surface all the good things that are happening in the community during this crisis and all the ways people are connecting. So at the end, we'll share that URL, and but that's kind of a place to connect some of those things too. So I've seen like the happy hours that are happening on some of the video conferencing software. But I want you to some of the principles, just to kind of tie this question up a little bit. Some of the principles you're talking about are things that are going to apply all the time. Looking in on your neighbor, we recently had a snowfall. I suppose part of good neighboring is maybe just giving a neighbor a call and seeing if you can clear snow from their walkway, and things that we would do normally, they become even more important during these times, right?
Oh, absolutely. In normal times, we have our Snow Buddies program, and that's an opportunity to be connected to your community members right in your own neighborhood. And so, we build these foundations for a reason, so that when a crisis like this happens, a lot of those existing relationships can be the basis for checking in on folks and making sure that you have each other's contact information, because not everyone has access to our online resources. So, calling your neighbor up on the phone and making sure they're okay, it's a great place to start.
That's great. Yeah, it strikes me like as I have connected with family members more regularly than I have in the past, and find myself being even more grateful to have friends and family that I can connect with, even in the local area. It feels like that could be one of the big wins, the positives that come out of all of this is just we can grow stronger and then be even more prepared for the next challenge that's in front of us.
Oh, I agree completely. I think that if we can maintain some of the new opportunities that we found ourselves with, we will come together, come out even stronger on the other side of this.
So I don't mean to put you on the spot, Charise, but I know that you've been helping with a little bit of the great work that's happening in the community in response to the recommendation around collecting, around people wearing masks when they're not in their home.
Mhm.
The city is enthusiastically supporting this recommendation. You've been working to secure masks from different places. It strikes me, though, that people are asking us a lot where they can volunteer and how they can help.
Mhm.
So is there anything more you could add, and recommendations you could make for people looking to volunteer or to do good?
Absolutely. Again, some of your most impactful efforts will be at a really local level within your own neighborhood. So as Ben mentioned, with even the masks, you can, if you sew, make sure that your friends, your family, your neighbors have access to those masks or face coverings. Really just checking in on each other at a really local level. And as I said earlier, we at the City of Arvada really believe that you and your neighbors are those superheroes in disguise. So that's one great place to start. There are some statewide initiatives that you could donate some efforts towards, like the Colorado Mask Project. There's the Help Colorado Now run through the state. You could even call a local nursing home and see if they're looking for volunteers to make wellness calls for their seniors that are struggling with isolation. A lot of my neighborhood leaders have really stepped up right now and are leading the charge in making sure that, you know, all neighbors are taken care of. So I encourage you all to start really, really local and check in, make sure everyone has what they need.
That's wonderful. Well, I think that's all the time we have right now. Is there anything else you want to share before we talk about some of the, just remind people of some of the resources we mentioned, put up on the screen?
Yes, it's been really incredible to see how the community has been adapting and coming together. And what I really want to say is, Arvada, you have been showing what it means to be a good neighbor. So I want to say thank you. And I want to say to please keep it up because, like we've been saying over and over, by coming together and being socially connected while physically distant, we're going to come out stronger from this together.
Well, that's about all the time we have. Again, I just want to thank everybody for listening to our conversation and wanted to remind you of some web resources. First and foremost, please consult authoritative sources of information about COVID-19, such as the website for the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. The city also has a web pages devoted to our response to COVID-19. And you can go there by visiting arvada.org/COVID-19. We have a specific page with a host of ideas and resources, a lot of which were mentioned today. Just go to arvada.org/we-can-do-this, all one word. And then finally, we mentioned Speak Up Arvada, which is our online engagement platform. We made an investment in that several years ago because we realized it's not easy for people to come to public meetings all the time. And we wanted a way for people to engage that was a little bit easier and more convenient. And now we're really glad we have it because it's impossible to come to public meetings now. So, so please visit us at speakup.arvada.org, where you'll find several projects that are we're asking for input on. But you can also see our We Can Do This project page, which has a lot of ideas and opportunities for you to share your own ideas with your community about how you're staying socially connected. So again, thanks again for listening. And Charise, it was great to see you. We don't often get to see each other anymore. It's good to see you looking well. I hope that you stay well and continue to persevere through remote work and physical distancing.
Thanks so much, Ben. It's good talking to you.
Take care.